Moving on to the Midwest region, Houston versus Northern Kentucky.
We'll keep
All three of us have Houston.
We'll keep that one pretty short. Houston's the probably one of the best teams, if not the best team in the country.
Yep.
So we're going to keep
Marcus
that.
Sasser, although is he playing Thursday?
We saw something.
So Marcus Sasser,
it's a grade
as of
one
right now,
it's a grade
has
one
a
groin
potentially grade 1 groin pull, which means he could be out at least 2 weeks.
So that puts him at.
All right, I'm going to change something real quick.
So that puts him at potentially coming back in the Sweet 16
if they.
Okay, never mind.
Unless he,
I don't know.
It's tough.
Unless he fights through it.
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll just have to wait.
I don't think they're going to need him against Northern Kentucky.
No, not at all. Hot. No, if they need him, I doubt it.
I'm not. I'll make it.
Yeah, that injury is definitely a pick.
It is definitely an interesting one. It was a scary one too. Did you guys see that?
I didn't watch it, but
oh my gosh, he just he's dribbling, goes to make a cut, and just collapses.
That's not.
It looked like it could have been like a ACL. Yeah, no kidding.
All right, moving on. 8-9, Iowa and Auburn.
This is a battle. This is a game that I am so intrigued by. Iowa's offense, good.
This is Auburn's defense.
Exactly. Auburn's defense is top notch, and that's part of the reason why they're in this tournament, because of that defense. I know there's been a consistent thing about how high-powered offense, pretty good offenses tend to win, but I'm taking Auburn in this one. I like Auburn's defense too much. I think they take care of business against Iowa.
I'm going Auburn as well. Like you said, they have a really good defense. They also are 48th in offense, which isn't the best, but top 50.
Yeah,
still good. And then Iowa,
good enough.
Iowa is third on offense, but their defense is 167th.
Yeah, they're
167th.
Yes.
So their defense is horrible, and because of that, I'm gonna have Auburn. Led by Wendell Green.
Yes.
Plus, Bruce Pearl is a great coach.
Good head chief.
And the SEC is a lot more competitive than Big Ten.
That's true. I'll be different. I've got Iowa.
Different.
Because I do think that good offense beats good defense. I'll take Iowa in this game. Although they are playing this game in Birmingham. And Auburn loves home games.
It's basically a home game.
There's certain games in this that are basically home games.
Yeah, this is one of them for Auburn. I'm still going to take Iowa, though. I like their offense. Their offense is, like you said, third in adjusted efficiency. So I'll be different. I'll take Iowa in this game.
What if we change the podcast name to Be Different?
Be Different.
Be Different.
Seriously, come on.
It does. It does. Okay, now we got Miami versus Drake. This is one that's tough.
That's a really good
This
game.
is a great matchup.
This whole sub-region of 4 teams is...
This is this part of the bracket is insane. It's crazy. I think depending on the team that shows up for Miami, they could be bumped right away, or they could make a run. I'm gonna lean Miami in this one. I think it's gonna be a crazy game though. But yeah, I'm gonna go Miami.
I'm gonna go Drake. Ooh. I like Miami. I like Isaiah Wong, ACC Player of the Year. Yep. Had a phenomenal season. But Drake is led by Tucker DeVries, who's averaging 19.
Missouri Valley Player of the Year. Ain't he a sophomore too?
Yes.
Okay, great.
And yeah, I think again, like Baylor, like Virginia, Miami always seems to be in the talks of upsets, and
especially if they're a higher seed.
Yeah,
or if they're like a lower seed, they're tending to be the guy that
they're tending to be the team making the upsets.
Yeah, and so
they made a run last year.
Never forget when Isaiah Wong dunked on what's his face from Auburn. What's this guy, the center?
Drake has a decent defense. They're top 15 defense.
Yeah.
I forget his name. But
he's in the NBA. I know who it is. What's his name?
For who?
He played on Auburn last year, and he's in the NBA now. He's a center.
Oh, Walker Kessler?
Yeah, Walker Kessler. That's his name. I never forget when Isaiah Wong dunked on Walker Kessler last year.
That's right.
But I'm going to go with Drake on this one. I have 2. That's not 5-12, is it?
This is 5-12, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I have 2 12-5. Okay, yeah. Drake.
All right. I got Miami in this game. I love their backcourt, and that's why I'm going to take them in this game. Drake is also one of those teams. I don't think Drake matches up particularly well with Miami, and I really like Miami's backcourt, and that's kind of what you need to have in March to win games. So I'll take Miami in this one.
Okay, so we got 2.
Tucker DeVries is a 6'7" guard.
Yeah,
Goodness.
Tucker DeVries is a demon. If he comes back, he's going to be scary. He should come back, although he might transfer. I don't know.
That is a demon.
If he has a good run.
Okay, so now it's Indiana and Kent State.
Indiana and Kent State.
What a game.
This is going to be...
This is like the game I'm looking forward to watching the most in the
This
first
one is,
round. Yes, Indiana, Kent State.
I can see it. I personally, it's probably in my top 5, but I have a different one. But Indiana, great team. Lack consistency sometimes. But I feel like Indiana takes care of business against Kent State. I like Kent State team. They've showed that they can be dynamic and dominate. But I'm going to go Indiana.
I'm going to go Indiana as well. They're 27th in offensive rating, 43rd in defensive rating, and they're led by Trish Jackson Davis, who's an absolute monster. 21, 11, and 4 on the season. And I do also like Kent State, but I think Trish Jackson Davis is just going to overpower them. There's not really much I don't think they have a player that can guard him. And I also think Jalen Hood, how do you say his last name? Shafino. I think he's going to have a big game. I like his game a lot as a freshman. So I think Indiana's going to take this one. I think it's going to be...
It's going to be a close game.
I was a toss-up between if I was going to go Miami or Drake upset or Indiana Kent State upset. Yep. But I'm going to go with Indiana.
I like it.
Mike Woodson.
Yeah. I have Kent State in this game.
I had a feeling you would.
Because Indiana is so inconsistent. Kent State has...
They're coming off a loss.
Kent State, they had a little bit of a lull, but they've been dominant in the MAC this whole year. And I think everyone's kind of had their eye on Kent State in terms of a potential mid-major that could make some noise early on in the tournament. Kent State, they score super efficiently.
You want to talk about their inconsistency? There's games that Indiana played this year where they
just don't show
like they
up.
lost to Iowa by like 20 over 20.
They lost to Kansas by 20.
They lost to Penn State.
Well, Kansas is really good,
Lost
so
to
like
Penn
that
State
is what it
by
is.
19.
Lost to Maryland by 11. Like Michigan State by
Indiana's
15.
incredibly, and don't get me wrong, Trace Jackson Davis is really good.
Yes.
No, I'm not Big Ten Player of the Year. Edie won that, but I like Trace Jackson Davis.
If Edie wasn't there,
if Edie wasn't there, Jackson Davis would have. Trace Jackson Davis is really good, but I have a feeling that Kent State is going to pull this one out.
I really like that pick.
Yeah,
it's a good pick. Like we said, these two games I feel like are toss-ups.
I just couldn't have two upsets back to, like I couldn't have a...
You couldn't have two 12-13 seeds facing.
I couldn't have two 12-13 seeds facing in the round of 32. That just isn't
Fair enough. Fair enough.
All right, next up, Iowa State and Mississippi State will hit.
I like Iowa State in this one. This is a team I really don't know a ton about. I know they've had games where they're amazing, but there's also games where they're kind of terrible. So, but I don't think it'll be enough for Mississippi State or Pitt to take care of business. So I'm going to go Iowa State.
I'm going to go Iowa State as well. Their offense isn't the greatest, ranked 96th, but their defense is top 10. They're ranked 8th in defense.
You gotta realize that you gotta pride yourself on defense in the Big 12, and that's definitely something they've.
That's how good the Big 12 is, for sure.
Yeah, and they're a very experienced team. Yes, they have a lot of bad losses. Lost to Iowa,
UConn,
Missouri. But like you guys both said, the Big 12 is really good. And so I think...
elite.
I think they're going to take this one. I think it'll probably be a good game depending on who wins, but I think Iowa is just better than both of these 11 seeds.
Good call.
Yeah.
Also, before you should go next, sorry. One thing about Pitt, they were like a lock
That's
going into the Selection Sunday, I thought.
And then they got.
And then they got the shaft.
Yeah, they're in the first four.
Got to the
That
first
doesn't make
four.
sense, dude.
I said earlier I think that they should have swapped with NC State, but
I agree with that.
I'm not on the selection committee, so. Speaking of Pitt, I actually like Pitt to win the first four and then also beat Iowa State.
It always seems like
There's always one team in the first four that'll win at least one. I mean, UCLA went to the Final Four from the first four like 2 years ago.
Yeah, that is right.
But yeah, I like Pitt in this game. I think Iowa State, they started off the year really, really well, but I think they went like 6-10 over their last 16 games. So I don't really think they're super hot. I know Pitt isn't hot either. They got like blown out against Duke in the ACC tournament, but it's Duke.
Yeah.
It's a fully healthy Duke team.
Yeah.
So I like Pitt to beat Mississippi State and then also beat Iowa State in this game, just because they were one of the top teams in the ACC for a large part of this season. And yeah, it's one of those games where I have a feeling that Pitt is gonna pull it out.
Yeah, I can see that. It's definitely tough because you got to wait and see which one it is. Because how do you feel?
If Mississippi State wins, I'm taking Iowa State.
Okay,
But
that's what I was about ready to ask you. Because I considered it if Pitt won, but I don't have as much confidence in Mississippi State. Next one is
Xavier and
Kennesaw State.
the Owls of Kennesaw State.
Man, I love Xavier. Xavier, I feel like with this part of the bracket, you have a bunch of up and down teams.
Yeah.
That could be upset or anything like that. I like Xavier a ton. I feel like they have shown that they are capable of beating top-notch teams. They beat UConn. They've hung with Marquette both times this year, except for in the final in the Big East tournament. But then they also have games where they lose to get people like DePaul and have close games against Seton Halls, just teams like that. Cincinnati at one point too. But I don't think Kennesaw State will be able to compete with them. I'm going to go with Xavier.
You're going to go with Xavier as well. They're 9th in offense rating, 70th in defensive rating, led by Colby Jones, who is going to be a first-round pick. He's a great guard.
They got a big boy, too.
And then
Nunji,
yeah, he's averaging 14 and 8. And then they also have another guard, senior Sully Bohm. Yeah, Bohm.
Yep, Bohm.
Who's averaging 16 and a
He's a
half.
freak.
He's really good. But I will say, one thing with this Kennesaw State team, I have watched them in person. I watched them beat my Flames, sadly. Their backcourt
Ungodly.
is nice. Chris Youngblood and Terrell Burden are dogs. They're scorers. They get to the rim with ease. They can shoot. So Kennesaw State is not a joke team, but they also went from having like 3 wins.
It was one win in 2019.
Yeah, to here, so they could be. But I'm just saying they got a good backcourt. Could give Xavier a little bit of problems early, but I'm going to go with Xavier. They've played the Big East this year has been really good. They played better teams. They're better all around. I think Xavier's going to win, but I think Kennesaw is going to shock them a little bit early. But I think Xavier's going to settle in and coming out with a pretty big win.
Yeah, like you said, Kennesaw State's backcourt could give Xavier fits, but at the end of the day, Xavier just has better talent across the board.
Yep.
So I'll take Xavier in this game. But shout out to Kennesaw State. They went 1-28 in 2019, I think. Was it 2019? Yeah. They won one game in 2019, and now they're in the NCAA tournament for the first time ever. And like you said, Chris Youngblood is very, very good. But that backcourt is great. But I'm going to take Xavier in this one.
Nice. That game was tough to watch.
Yeah. Darius McGee decided to sell on national television.
Did you hear that? I drove 7 hours to go to Georgia and watch the game just for us to lose by a free throw.
It's tough. Yeah, Darius sold, bro. He was 0 for 12 from 3. They locked him up. It's tough. But hey, Liberty tonight, Villanova in the NIT at Liberty. It's going to be a good game. Liberty will probably lose, but it'll be a good game. All right, moving on. We got Texas A&M Penn State 7-10.
This is a great 7-10 game.
This is a great 7-10 game.
Before you go, Joel, what do you think about Texas A&M being ranked as a
I think they got
shafted.
They got
yes. shafted.
Dude, how is the number 2 team in the SEC getting a 7?
Yeah, that's terrible.
How? That doesn't make any sense.
I agree.
How is St. Mary's a 5 seed?
I can understand that.
Aiden, I don't ever say his name. The freshman beast.
I can't. I struggle with them being a 7 because I saw this matchup and I thought Texas A&M should be higher for one.
I would have put him over Xavier probably.
A&M over Xavier? I don't know about that.
I think they could have been a 4 or a 5.
They should have been like a 5 seed.
I would say a 5.
They should have been a 5 seed.
The fact that they're a 7 is disrespectful, and I feel like that could be their motivation. Mm-hmm. But Penn State's hot.
Yeah,
I freaking love this Penn State team, led by Jalen Pickett. He is a freak. He leads their team in all categories. And heading into that game against Purdue for the Big Ten championship, I'm thinking, they're getting destroyed. And they only lose by 2.
And then they didn't get destroyed.
Well, the fact you start off that game down almost double digits to a team like Purdue with Edey, and you come back, and it just shows that you're tested and you're able to. You're
resilient.
You're a resilient team. Yes.
Weren't they down by a lot? Like, didn't they make a massive run at the end to kind of make the score closer than it was? Yes. They had a chance to win the game, though.
They did.
So
they did.
You have to give them credit for that.
So that's why I am going with Penn State in this game. I love how Penn State's playing right now. This is the first time they've been there in a while, too.
2011 was the last time they were here, I think.
Yeah.
Really?
But I'm going Penn State.
I'm going Penn State as well. They have a good offense led by Jalen Pickett, who is an absolute stud. And their coach is good, Micah Shrewsbury. He's good. And like you said, watching them in that Big Ten championship game.
Just their entire run.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, because going into the Big Ten tournament, they were like, all right, in order for them to get in comfortably, they need to win like one game.
Yeah, they need
one
to
or
win
two
or 2 games, and then they make it to the Big Ten championship.
And they're like, okay, yeah, they're
So they really
fine.
impressed me doing that. And I just think Jalen Pickett, he could score the basketball, and I think that's going to be ultimately the reason why they beat
senior
Texas
guard.
A&M.
Yeah, I've got Texas A&M in this game. I think they were incredibly disrespected being a 7 seed.
I do too.
And I think it's really unfortunate for Penn State that they got drawn up against Texas A&M. Part of the reason, selfishly, I want to see Texas A&M and Texas play each other. So I picked A&M in this game. I think this is a toss-up. I think this is going to be a really, really, really good game. I could very easily see Penn State win with Jalen Pickett, but I'll be different than you all. I'll go with Texas A&M. Be different.
Texas and Colgate, 2:15.
Dang, Colgate.
Colgate got shafted, drawn up against Texas.
Colgate's always one of those teams.
They're always on the verge of winning an NCAA tournament game.
Yeah, they can always upset a team.
They could. I'm going Texas. This Texas team is...
They're a buzzsaw.
They are insane.
Terry Saunders.
And like we saw, the thing you saw on Twitter, they are top 5 in both categories, offense and defense. And you just beat Kansas by 20.
Twice. They beat them in at their place, and they beat them by 20 in the Big 12 title game.
Yes. I don't know how you cannot... they've lost games to Baylor. They've lost games to TCU. But it seems like everybody in the Big 12 has lost to everybody. Mm-hmm. It's hard for me to pick against Texas. I love Texas as a team, and it's going to stay like that, Texas.
I'm going Texas as well. So, yeah, the thing Joel's talking about, 100% of national championships since 2002 have been both a top 40 KenPom offense and top 22 in defense, and Texas falls in that category. And they're led by Marcus Carr, who's averaging 16 a game, transfer from, where was it again? Minnesota. That's what it was, Minnesota. Because I remember Kentucky was looking for a little bit. He's a stud. Sir'Jabari Rice has been great as a senior guard for him. And Tyrese Hunter, we're going to see March Tyrese again. Last year went ballistic in the tournament for Iowa State, led them to a couple wins, and I think he's going to do the same thing here with Texas. And they're going to move on against Colgate fairly easily. And yeah, I got Texas.
Yeah, I'll make this short. Texas is a buzzsaw. And yeah, I'll go with Texas.
Also,
in this game.
Dylan Mitchell is good too.
Dylan Mitchell is good. Yeah.
All right, round of 32.
We got Houston and Auburn. I don't think Houston loses this one, even with the Sasser injury. I feel like Houston is just a deep team. They have so much. They play physical. They're a great defensive team. They can score. I don't think Auburn can handle that in this game, so I'm going Houston.
I'm going Houston as well. Even if Sasser ends up not playing, I think they're still good enough. I think Dries Walker is a great player as a 2 guy for Sasser and for Houston. He's going to be a top 10 to 15 pick probably in the NBA draft this year, and I think he's going to ball out. And yeah, I have Houston just because, like you said, Auburn's offense isn't anything to write home about.
Yeah. I've got Houston and Iowa. I'm going to take Houston in this game. I think if Houston does play Iowa, Marcus Sasser will come back just because Iowa can score the ball super well. And I feel like if they get hot, Houston's going to have to play like game of their life.
Well, I mean,
they said he could come back.
Could come back for that,
like, you can play on it,
but it's going to be.
I
would assume
he will have to fight through it. He'll be limited.
He'll be in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay.
But you can definitely play through.
If they play Auburn, I don't know if Marcus Sasser will come back. Just because I think Houston could take care of Auburn even without Marcus Sasser. But I feel like they would play Marcus Sasser if they played Iowa, just as a precaution.
Okay.
To be like not really make it like super super concerning. And for that reason, I'll take Houston in that game.
And then,
Also, Houston's just there. We said earlier, they're just really, really, really good.
31 and 3.
okay, so this is the one that we all have different.
Yeah, you all have
I
Drake,
have-
Indiana. I have Miami,
I
Kent
don't.
State.
I have Miami.
Oh, you have
Indiana.
Miami, Indiana. Okay.
I like the Miami
Drake,
team, but I think
State.
Indiana's.
They do all have to.
I think Indiana's offense is too much in this case. I'm gonna go Indiana.
I'm going to Indiana. I think Drake's guard is going to score a lot, obviously, but they just, again, don't really have anybody to match up with Trey Jackson Davis. And I think because of that, Indiana's going to win this one.
Yeah, I got Miami and Kent State in this one. I'll take Miami in this game. Experienced backcourt. Isaiah Wong is ACC Player of the Year. And I think while Kent State's going to kind of shock the college basketball world against Indiana, Miami's going to be ready for them. So I'll go with Miami.
Good pick. For me, it's Iowa State Xavier.
That's what I got.
I've got Pitt Xavier.
Okay.
But
I'm going Xavier. Like I said, I love this Xavier team. Pretty consistent throughout. They have their moments, but I feel like they're battle tested. I feel like that is going to help them a ton. They're able to score the ball in great clips, getting up to upwards of 80 points a lot of the time this year. And I just don't think Iowa State can compete with that. I'm going to go Xavier.
I'm going to go Xavier as well. They're just because they're 9th in KenPom offensive rating, and they're going to outscore Iowa State because Iowa State can't really score the basketball.
no, they can't. Yeah, I've got Xavier and Pitt. I'll go with Xavier in this game. Just a better team, and like you said, battle-tested Big East, 9th in offensive rating. And yeah, they are inconsistent, but so is Pitt. So
That is
Xavier's just a better team. So I'll go with Xavier in this one.
Good. Okay, then I got Texas Penn State. I love the story of Penn State, but I don't think it'll be enough to compete with Texas. Texas is just too dynamic of a team, and like you said, they're a buzzsaw. It's going to be hard to beat that team. Texas.
I'm going to go Texas as well. They're one of the best teams in this tournament. They played in the Big 12. Big 12 is stacked this year, and I'll just continue the run and the historic run of Big 10 teams being terrible in big tournaments.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fair. I've got Texas A&M. I think if this game happens, it'll be a really good game.
I think so too.
I think if Texas plays Texas A&M, it'll be a really good game. But Texas is just on another level.
Did you notice how many Texas teams are in this part of the bracket?
Yeah, they got Houston,
Texas A&M, and
Texas.
Texas.
Yeah.
They want to make sure a Texas team gets out of
Yeah,
there.
I've got Texas in that game, and Texas.
Okay. I got.
A lot of Texas teams in the entire bracket. Like Texas Southern,
There's a ton of Texas.
Texas A&M, Corpus Christi.
There's so much Texas.
Baylor.
It's ungodly. Okay, next one. I got Houston and Indiana. I'm taking Houston. Sasser and
Marcus Sasser will be back.
he definitely
Marcus Sasser will be
should be back by this point.
Barring any setbacks.
Yes. So I am going with Houston, banking on that. I mean, I could have some hesitation. I probably will have some hesitation if he's not back. But with that in mind, I'm going with Houston.
I'm going with Houston as well. I think this will be the first matchup where
Houston
a team
Texas.
matches up well with Trish Jackson Davis. Jarace Walker is a big-bodied forward, and his best trait is his defense.
Yes.
And I think he's going to limit Trish Jackson Davis. And I think with Sasser, if he's playing, I think that helps him a lot. But I don't think that Hood Schifino is going to really, or anybody else is going to really carry them if Trish Jackson is taken out of the game. So I'm going to go Houston.
Yeah, I've got Houston and Miami in this one. I've got Houston as well. Houston has the backcourt to match up with Miami's, and they're just 31-3 on the year. They've shown that they're one of the best teams in the country, and Marcus Sasser should be back. So I'll take Houston in this game.
One thing for Houston, does it worry you guys that they are 31-3, but they do play in the American?
I'm not
and
concerned.
So they
went to the Final Four like a couple years ago, playing the American. I'm not concerned with them being in the American at all.
I'm not really concerned. I feel like they're a very deep team, like we said. Just all around, I feel like they're a team that can make a run to the Final Four.
It's like Gonzaga plays in the West Coast Conference.
Yeah,
Gonzaga needs to get out of that conference.
Yeah, that's true.
they do. But that team that team that they had with Jalen Suggs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The American's not like a terrible conference. They've got Memphis, Cincinnati.
It's good.
it's better than what Gonzaga.
I've just seen some people.
I would-
say
It's
that.
similar.
It's similar.
I've just
to
seen
it.
some people question whether Houston's legit or not. I think
I think they're legit.
I think they're legit.
Others aren't. So.
Next one, Xavier, Texas.
We all got Xavier, Texas, right?
I don't know what you guys got. I'm going Texas, riding the Texas train. I feel like this team is, like we said, unbelievable. I can't pick against them. I know I love the Big East, but I'm not picking against Texas.
I'm going Texas as well. So then in the Elite Eight, we'll have the Battle of Texas between Houston and Texas.
Yeah, I've got Texas in that game as well. Xavier's way too inconsistent for me to trust them any further.
Yep, I agree.
Good run by Xavier.
It was a great
Yeah, it's a good run by Xavier.
Absolutely.
Give him credit.
I honestly, if they got placed somewhere else, potentially, like I know they're inconsistent, I could see potentially making a run, but I don't see it.
They kind of came out of nowhere.
They did. So we all have Texas,
We all have
Houston.
Texas, Houston.
Texas, Houston.
I got Texas.
I got Texas.
I got Texas winning this one. Don't get me wrong. Like we said, we think Houston is legit, but I just can't pick against Texas. I struggle to pick against Texas. So Texas makes it to my Final Four.
Here's my thing. If Marcus Sasser was 100%, I would take Houston.
Yep.
But because he will more than likely not be 100% throughout this tournament because of groin injuries, yes, if they are fully healed, you can be fine, but they are lingering.
They are a pain.
And you tweak, you move one wrong move.
You make one wrong step and it re-aggravates the
and
injury.
re-aggravates
And you're
it
done for
completely.
the rest of the
So
tournament.
I think with Sasser not being 100% through this entire tournament changes the entire landscape of Houston's title hopes, and because of that, I'm going to have Texas.
Yeah. I think this will be the game of the tournament.
I agree.
Oh, absolutely.
I agree.
I think this could be the game of the
We
tournament.
have
Yeah, Houston, Texas. The Final Four is in Houston, so both these teams are going to be fighting tooth and nail
to
get home.
to make
Basically
sure that
home
they're the
court.
team that gets there. But I also have Texas for that reason and that reason alone. I don't know how healthy Marcus Sasser is going to be. If Marcus Sasser doesn't get hurt, I probably have Houston winning this game. But it's just unfortunate that injury struck when it did.
It is. It's very
But
unfortunate.
Texas is, I'd say, probably the second hottest team in the country behind Duke. And they're just loaded on all ends.
All ends. I agree.
So I'll take Texas in this game as well.
So just to recap, we have. So for me, I have Bama, Marquette, Texas.
Same.
I've got Arizona, Marquette, Texas.
Okay.